Hello Future Tech leaders, I'm Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. At CloudFoundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
So today, what we'll do is, I did show you how to set up the navigation, how to set up the layouts, and personalization, what exactly are the set preferences that we have seen. Now today, what we'll do is we will go into the setup. So under the setup, you will have, these are the subheadings that you have: the company, accounting, tax, sales, manufacturing. So we'll go into each one of it in detail. The maximum time that we will spend would be on the enabled features and on the accounting preferences. This is the navigation, go to setup company, enable features. That is one thing, and then we will spend setup accounting, accounting preferences. These are the two very important things that we deal with in personalization sessions. Whenever we deal with the personalization and when we are talking with the clients about what exactly needs to be enabled and what needs to be disabled. These are the two areas in every module. Let that be in procure to pay, order to cash, lead to quote, marketing to ROI, or even if it is record to report, or any other module that we are talking about. These are two important pages that you have to remember. Going to set up company, enable features, set up accounting, accounting preferences, or you can actually do this as well. Just like the way we've done it yesterday. If you're not sure of the navigation, you can go to the global search and do this as well. It will give you the navigation too. It's a setup company. Enable features, this particular navigation, you will be able to get it. So, just in case, maybe these are not set up. No issues. So, let's go into setup company and company information first. And then we'll see the enable features. So, what our information is there as part of the company information. This is the first page that you will actually land upon when you're talking with the clients. When you're doing the getting started session with the client, this is the first page that you have to come in. This is where you have to mention what is the company name. The complete company name. What is the legal name of the company that you're working for? And then you can also set up the logos. I did mention about the logos the other day. If you want to have logo on each page like this, you see this Oracle NetSuite. So, just like this, if you need to have a company logo next to this Oracle NetSuite, then this is where you set it up on the forms. If you wanted to separate logo, this is where you do it. On the pages, this is where you do it. So you can also click on display logo internally too. So all you got to do is, click on this plus symbol. And then you can choose the file. If you click on choose file, then any file of your choice, you can actually choose and keep it here. And this file will be saved on your file cabinet. So you can choose your file. You can, after you choose the file, if you want to make it inactive or active, if you want to make it available for suite bundles and suite. There are other things that you can hide upon. company-wide usage, general URL stamps. So these are the things that you can actually choose to have it on each page. Whenever you log into any form, you will see that logo. Whenever you log into any page, you will see this logo. I mean, if there are two different logos, by the way, you can actually set it up. This is the company website where you can specify what exactly is the website of the company and then the return email address. What is the return email address for the company when you are sending it? And you can also specify what is the address for the company by clicking on edit. When you click on edit, it will give you all the options like the attention addressee phone number, address, one address, two cities, state and zip code. Now, when I was referring to the master data, this is one of the master data which is already set up in the system. If you see, you will get this list because this is a master data country. This is a master data. You will have a list, and where exactly do you have them? You will have them under this stated provinces and countries. Whatever you define here, let's say you go into the countries and you also go into the, since we are dealing with the addresses, I'll let you know what these are. So when you go into the countries, you can define any, usually for an NetSuite instance. You will have a new button over here. Do not get confused that it is not available for us because this is a training account and they do not want to add any additional junk countries over there. And that is the reason it is disabled for us, but usually there is a new button. So after the countries are set up, and by the way, you don't have to set up the countries manually whenever you install a bundle. The first thing that you do on NetSuite is that you will install a bundle based on what the customer has paid for. Let that be a purchase, bundle or a manufacturing bundle. Whatever it is, they will have to install that bundle. So I will let you know where exactly to go for that bundles a little later. But I just wanted to show you what these countries are. So once the countries are actually coming from the bundle, and if there is any country which is missed out as one of the bundle, you can add them by clicking on new. So once the countries are set up, these are the states and provinces under each country which the NetSuite automatically gives. Under China, you will have so many provinces, states and provinces here, and then under Canada, under United States, under India. So anything that you have, you can actually, now we do not have the states mentioned here for India. Correct. So for that you can click on new and then you can select India as the country and then the state. So this is how you create the state, province and county. So once you go in now, you will have India as a country and then you will have the state which is defined. So that is how you pull the information on this address pages. So that is the master data that I was relating to a state country. All these things would actually be pulling out from this master data which we already created. Any questions on that? I think that, as you know, so likewise you can also define a shipping address or you can define a return address as well. And when you define all these shipping addresses, everything, it automatically gives you the map as well. When you define the zip code and everything, it will provide you the map on NetSuite as to what exactly that is. So this is a purge account. Now what exactly do you mean by purge? Whenever you do not want this account completely, it's like deleting the account. So only the administrators would actually have an access to this purge account option. And then they do it. So this is the social security number or the TI number of the company that you specify. For the United States companies, there is something called as EIN number as well, which is Employer Identification Number. And you can specify the EIN number over here. This is the NetSuite account ID. So whenever customer has an issue with the NetSuite, you know, like they're not able to log in, the system is not opening, or if there is any technical issue with the system, then they would have to refer to this account ID. This is the company information that they would get into. And they would say, this is my account ID and I have a problem. So whenever you reach out to the support team, this is very important. And under the company URLs, you can specify what is the company you are. L Customer Center Login, NetSuite Center Login. These are the usual logins that you have. NetSuite account is one of the logins that you will have for customer. This is a Customer Center login. So one thing I wanted to let you know is, just like the way the implementation consultants, are logging into NetSuite, there is a way that the existing customers and the vendors on the portal also can log into the NetSuite. So who are the customers and vendors? The one who we buy from are the vendors and the one who we sell to are the customers. So we give the NetSuite access to the vendors and customers as well. However, they will not have the complete access that you're seeing now. All they will have is, if he's a customer, he will have access to his sales orders, his invoicing, his item fulfillment, only those pages. If he's a vendor from who we are purchasing, then the vendor will have access to the purchase orders, to the vendor bills and the item receipts that we do. That's it. So only, very, very little access we provide to the customers and vendors. That's about the company URLs. Now getting to the system notes. What exactly is a system note? Any change that you make is actually captured as part of the system notes in the system. So any field, you see this? The field was something else. Earlier I changed it to all. So company name, administrator, fundamental state. This was the old value and this is the new value which is provided. Email igiro is what it was earlier and now it's nsgbu_training feedback@. This one, feedback@NetSuite is what the email address is. So any changes that you make would actually get captured over here. Now I'm making a change on the facts. And this is not just limited to the company information page, but the system notes is available for every page on NetSuite. Whatever changes you make as a user, every little change is captured as part of the system notes. You see this. I have changed the facts now and it displays that I have made this change. We are done with the company information. Now let's jump on to the enable features, which is very important. So regarding the settings, we have done is setting now and it shows the log. So whatever the activity or the preferences we do, even those logs will be shown under system notes. That's a good question. No, it won't show up. The settings, changes that we do here at the enable features and the accounting preferences, these will not show up, but under any transactions, any lists or anything that you're changing. Wherever you have access to the NetSuite system notes, that is the only thing which will be visible. Understood. Thank you. Thanks. So the other day, I told you that if you want a view like this, you can keep it, or if you want one after the other, you can click on this. So this is how it will appear, but let's go back to the other view. So we have several tabs under the Enable features. Now, what are these tabs related to? The first one is a company tab. So this particular tab is all related to the company. Company-wide preferences. What do you want to enable? What do you want to disable? These are the things. Now this is the accounting tab, which is completely related to the finance. What needs to be enabled? What needs to be disabled? We'll see everything field by field, but I just wanted to show you all the tabs that we have at the moment. And then this is a tax tab. Any advanced taxes or whatever you set up will be visible here. This is a transactions tab. So under the transactions, what all do you have? Do you want to have the sales orders? Do you want to have the purchase orders? Do you want to have the return authorizations of these things? So all these are enabled and disabled at the transactions level. We'll come back to that again. This is items and inventory. So what all items do you have? How do we specify? This is called the Design to Build tab. If you remember, I told you that D2B, everything related to items and inventory, comes under Design to Build. So this tab is what Design to Build. And this tab is for Procure to Pay, R2Cash and Manufacturing. You know all these things. This is for Record to Report, R2 to our company and the accounting. So let's go back to the Company tab and then we will see each one. Or do you want me to increase the font? That's good. It's visible. Good. So under the company, there is something called as classifications. So what exactly is a classification? When you go to System, Set up Company and then scroll down. This is what your classification says. So under the classifications, subsidiaries. This is very important and this is a mandatory thing. It would be there for every company. Subsidiary is nothing but your legal entity. Any branch, any physical location, any what you call legal entity. You have your business in that particular state. So that is what is your legal entity. So obviously one of the other subsidiaries you will have. So use subsidiary is a mandatory thing which will have. So apart from subsidiaries, what else do you have? So you have your departments, you have your locations, you have your classes. And these things you can actually enable and disable them if you want. What exactly is a department? So you can track your activity by department when you have it. So what all departments can a company have? You can have your HR department. You can have your IT department. You can have your facilities department. You'll have your operations department. So these are all your departments in the company which you can specify. Now, why are we specifying this classification? Whenever you put in a purchase order, whenever you put in a sales order, these classification selection would be available on the purchase order or the sales order or any transaction for that matter. The reason why you're doing that is you might want to put in a purchase order for the IT department wherein you're procuring the laptops. Correct. You might want to procure chairs and furniture for your operations department. So, likewise, you can actually define your purchase order. You can actually filter your purchase order depending on that. So, the reporting tomorrow, you can actually see how much have we spent on the IT department, How much have we spent on the legal department? How much have we spent on the operations? How much have we spent on the HR department? So that is the reason most of the companies will certainly have departments. Now, what is a location? A location is a physical warehouse, as simple as that. So you can have your one legal entity, maybe in Hyderabad, but you can have your warehouses across the state. You can have it in Warangul, you can have one in Kajit, you can have one in the other one. So these are your physical locations. So, depending on the business, depending on the number of warehouses that these people have, the locations are defined. So what is a class? Now, class is something that your items are categorized into. You know products like beauty products. You might have your home and decor beauty products, furniture. You can actually specify what class your item belongs to. It's a broader classification of your item. So under the beauty products, you might have your facial cream, you might have your manicure pedicure sets, you might have your anything. All these come under the beauty product, so you can classify your items as beauty products, and that is the reason all these three things are called as classifications. Now, where exactly do you see them? I will show them to you a little later, but I just wanted to show you before we move on so that you will have a clear idea. So when I go into a purchase order, you see these things. Location. You have your location, you've got your division, you have your department. Everything would be visible over here and you have to select them. These are the things. These are the things which are there. So you can segregate your purchase orders. You segregate your sales orders based on the classification. Any questions on this? So now coming to the projects, I have spoken about the project to cash module. So under the project to cash module, these are the different options that you can enable and disable. So let's do one thing. Classes as it is. I think they have changed the name on it. One sec. This is sales channels. There is classes. One sec. So as I told you earlier, there is something called as rename record transactions. So for every record that you have, you can actually rename that. You see this. Somebody has done this. The name for class, what they have done it as sales channels. Usually if you go here into the company and scroll down, this is the class actually. So what I can do is, if I rename record transactions, if I save it all. Now let's go to company, scroll down. You see this now. The reason I wanted to show you this is if you disable that feature now, I've disabled it. I don't know if the system allows us to do that because classes must be used somewhere. Now it's disabled. So once I refresh, since the classes is disabled, if I go to company now, I will be able to see only the departments and locations. It's not yet updated. Hold on. Maybe it will take some time, but let's refresh. Since I have disabled that in the Enable Features option, the classes should not be showing up here. It might take some time since this is a test account, but that is how you enable and disable certain things. Let's go back here. Let's enable it. all. So that is how you disable certain features. Let's go back to the enable features again. So coming to the projects, so this is where you enable the projects and the project management. So once you enable these projects, this is where you will find them. Project templates. Usually there would be projects as well here under the jobs. I think they have renamed the project to jobs, and that is the reason you're seeing it there. So let us go here. 1 second. It creates a little confusion when people change certain things. It's actually a project and not a job. So that is the reason you were not seeing the jobs, project, earlier over there. So now if you refresh this as well. You see this project and project templates. So if I disable this, the projects will be gone. You will not have the projects option over there. So this is about the job costing and project budgeting. You know these are a little advanced topics. So what we'll do is we will cover everything which is related to purchase, sales, and the assemblies, and then we'll come back to the projects later on. So coming to ERP General. So what is units of measure? A unit of measure is nothing, but any item that you have in your inventory would have certain unit. If it is a liquid, you will have liters, milliliters, cubic liters, and so on. So if it is, a big box, then you will have cubic meters. Area, basically if it covers the area. So all these things are your units of measure. So do you want to have multiple units of measure? Now, what do you mean by multiple units of measure? If you go into the lists, accounting, and units of measure, this is where you have the units of measure. I will tell you while creating the items what exactly is the unit of measure. You see this now? So you can have multiple units of measure. This is box. Now that is the base unit that I am defining here. Now if I click on box, I can say that 6 boxes is my box pack of 6. Boxes is a box pack of 12. So this is what your multiple units of measure will do. It will convert your base unit into multiple units. And you can see the conversion rate over here. So 12 boxes is my back box pack of 12. But instead of showing you the box, I think I can show you the length, maybe the weight. So if you go into the weight, multiple units are not measured here. 1 second. So length is my base unit. What I'm saying is meters. Now 1 meter is my base unit and 2.5 inches would be a 1 meter. That is what I'm defining as a conversion rate. So when you are actually taking these units, when you specify your base unit on an item, you can actually, whenever you're creating the purchase orders, you can select multiple units over here. It could be meters, it could be centimeters, it could be your kilometers that you can specify. So all these things, you will have a selection and the system automatically converts that into a base unit. We'll look into this in detail when we are discussing what the items. By the way, any questions on this? So that is what your multiple units of measure would actually do. So use a deletion reason. Now Gopi, if you remember, you had asked me why are we deleting certain things on the production just before we go live. So if you want to specify a reason whenever you're deleting something, use actually enable this and any transaction that you release. I mean that you delete on NetSuite. It'll ask you for a reason. There will be set reasons which are specified in the system already. And what are those test transactions done by mistake or those things are actually master data which is already created within the system. So if you enable this feature, if you try to delete something, it will throw a pop-up box saying you have to select the deletion reason. Why exactly are you deleting? It is what is you have to select. Any question? What kind of transactions for everything? It will show. For everything. It will show you delete purchase order, you delete journal entries. If you are deleting sales orders, see usually in a production system, this is enabled by default. Because we want to know if someone is deleting, any record. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.